Okay, hello everybody, it's me, King Murray, and today I'm going to be reviewing my videos that I made on Bubba, and I'm just going to add some stuff about them. So let's start.
Hello guys, it's King Mario Murray. Today I'm talking about the famous Gravedigger. Now I'm not just talking about the Gravedigger, but one of the concepts of Gravedigger. This one, he is very interesting for being a cut character. But before I get started, let's talk about the Gravedigger. The Gravedigger was a cut character from Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. It was replaced by the scientists because they couldn't come up with good variants for him. The Gravedigger almost made it into the game as a boss, but again, he was replaced. This time by Baron von Batz. Now on to the character. Since he has no official name, I will call him, now let's see, Bubba. Okay, now we know his name, let's begin. The first part of the story involves many characters. First of All-Star. Originally, All-Star was going to be able to juice his teammates and make them stronger.
I want to emphasize why I said juice, because it's like basically make them like steroids. That's really what it was steroids. Basically, that's what Justin Weeb explained, and I'll talk on to it.
Justin Weeb said that Bubba was in his Hulk-like form.
And here you could say it never got to the prototyping phase. So Bubba, that was why Bubba was in his Hulk-like form, and it's, kind of just a wee, but it was never got to the prototyping phase, so that's why it's only in a sketch.
Remember this for later. Now we know that, we can get into the second character. Who else has something to do with drinks? Dr. Zomboss? No. Crazy Dave? Also no. Uncle Boz! Uncle Boz made a drink called Boz Tonic. It says, here today, gone tomorrow. Now look at Bubba. Look closely. What's different about his head? Yes, he's missing a patch of hair. Now what if I told you that Bubba worked for Uncle Boz? You may be thinking that it's a coincidence that part of his hair is missing. However, remember the juice? Good, because Uncle Boz also made the juice All-Star uses on himself and his teammates. That would explain why Bubba is juiced. He is Uncle Boz's product tester. This may be far-fetched, but in the second video it might make a little bit more sense to you. This is just the first part of the story. I want to note before...
Okay, so the first video I thought was probably the best, and like I explained in the first 10 seconds of this video, which is the second one, the story behind Uncle Boz, I want to note that like I said, I want to know how it's short. It's because I was going to add where Uncle Boz works, but I thought it wouldn't make sense because it just kind of jumped. That's why I didn't add it, and I think that's why the videos are so short. But this video is probably gonna be at least 5 minutes because with me bantering and videos on top of it, it's probably this would have been how the videos would have looked if it was all in one completion.
Before this video starts, that these full theory videos are going to be cut in half, so with the last theory, that would have been added onto this one, but I thought it would make more sense to cut it off so it wasn't confusing. Hello, it's King Warrior Murray. Today I'm continuing my last theory with my theory on Uncle Boz. So, we know that Uncle Boz is Bubba's employer. We also know that he made Boz Tonic and Juice. Now, where does Uncle Boz do his work?
Okay, so before we get to the work part, I want to note that Bubba was he used the Gravedigger's abilities, and it's possible that Uncle Boz made the hand grenade ability because it's a dynamite, and Jewel Junction has a lot of dynamite. I didn't add that in because I thought it wouldn't make very much sense, but I thought that it's important to know that Bubba could have used that, and I'm hoping to do a theory on some other stuff, and I'm not gonna explain what that is. It's more of a kind of idea, and it's probably hopefully gonna hook back to Bubba, but yeah. Okay, now the rest of the video.
Work. Well, I might be able to answer that. Before I do that, I suggest you watch the last theory on Bubba. Okay, now that you are back, I will start. Uncle Boz may be a small character, but he has a very big story. Uncle Boz has a sign in the backyard in Garden Warfare 2. You may be thinking that Bubba has nothing to do with Garden Warfare 2, and you would be correct. However, Uncle Boss does not just show up in Garden Warfare 2, he also shows up in Garden Warfare 1. He shows up in Chomptown and Garden Center. If you know anything about Garden Center, you know that a certain man shows up there too. Yes, that's right, Gravedigger. And you also know that Bubba is a variant of Gravedigger. Again, connecting Uncle Boz and the Gravedigger slash Bubba. So we know that Uncle Boz created his business before Garden Warfare 2. Going back to my last video, you know how I had Jewel Junction as the background? Well, that wasn't just a random pick. That was planned. So what place has a lot to do with drinks? If you couldn't guess, that place would be Jewel Junction. It has
Also, I want to note, I just realized this now. Besides Bubba being Uncle Boz's product tester, you know how he made Boz Tonic, which is basically booze, but I'll get to that in the video, but it's it's like that, except Uncle Boz is also bald. He's nearly bald, so it's possible that he tested it on himself. And that could also be that Uncle Boz worked by himself before he hired Bubba. It's possible that he created his business before Garden Warfare, probably possibly during Plants vs. Zombies 2 or Plants vs. Zombies 1. We don't know.
drinks scattered all over the place.
But hopefully I can find that out. But I'll have to go look at Plants vs. Zombies 2 and Plants vs. Zombies 1 for information. Plants vs. Zombies 2 is more likely to have information, but we'll just have to see.
Now, what if I told you that Uncle Boz works close to Jewel Junction? That's not all. He also appears in Zompopulous, not once, but twice. One on Boz Tonic's sign, and the next on old-timey photos. Who else is on the sign? None other than Gravedigger, again connecting him to Bubba. Who else also appears on the sign? Yes, Dr. Zomboss, as a baby. Wrap it all up. Do you know what Boz is slang for?
Also, that camera also in Port Scallywag, so Uncle Boz might have something to do with like Captain Deadbeard and Pirate Zombies. I'll have to look, but not yet. That's just kind of like a idea.
Or, yes, booze, connecting him to Jewel Junction. But it doesn't end there. Why would Uncle Boz be on old-timey photos? Well, because he works in an old-timey town, Jewel Junction. That also raises a question. Does Uncle Boz know or work for Dr. Zomboss? Sorry for this video being so short, but there isn't a lot of information and proof of this, so it's kind of loosely based. Hopefully, you guys liked it, but yeah, sorry for it being short.
Yeah, this, like I said in the beginning, in the first 12 seconds, there really isn't a lot of information that, besides old-timey photos, um, uh, uh, like Jewel Junction in general, and that's really it. Maybe, I mean, some people might say, well, Uncle Boss is just Dr. Zomboss, like, doing another job. The only thing I have that says that conflicts with that is, sorry, that whenever Dr. Zomboss dresses up, it usually adds just a hat, or he's wearing a suit or a hat, or he's just wearing his normal stuff and not just as a hat. Like for example, Grandma Z. That's a good one because it's just him wearing that, or like him doing wearing the same suit his grandfather wore, except he's at a banker hat because that he uses his grandfather's likeness to what's the word, like make it look like he's rich. But I just want to note that. So yeah, that's a lot of what a lot of people say.
Hello, it's King Warrior Murray. Today I'm talking about Dr. Zomboss. Now, don't get your brains in a bunch. I'm not talking about everything on Dr. Zomboss, only on him and Uncle Boz. At the end of the last video, I said that Uncle Boz maybe worked for Dr. Zomboss. Well, he does, and here's why. If you remember last video, I talked about Jewel Junction. Well, it's pretty important, alright. You know how that train runs through the town? And do you know what's on the train? There's parts for the Zombot, and there's either a Yeti or a Gargantuar in a cart.
I also want to note that you can see in this background, the trains have eyes, which is like a big thing for Dr. Zomboss, is like he's watching like the eyes even in Zomboss's state. So that's also the fact that the train carts and the train itself looks like Dr. Zomboss himself made it. So yeah, and that would make sense why Jewel Junction would be something to do with Dr. Zomboss.
What if I told you that Jewel Junction acts as a port for Zomboss to keep his supplies if a plant attack is to happen? I think that Dr. Zomboss has a deal with Uncle Boz where, if Uncle Boz allows Zomboss to use his area as a base, he will get his name spread farther than just a few places, and he'll get funded to make more products, hence why Juice would exist. He'll also use Uncle Boz workers as soldiers. So, Dr. Zomboss uses Uncle Boz for his plan to take over the world. This
Also, before this video ends, I want to say that I know this is going to happen. People are going to be like, Dr. Zomboss has, or Uncle Boz has other workers. Well, he does. They're not going to be like advanced as Bubba. Not going to be like actual soldiers that could actually fight. More of like brown coats or worker zombies. So nothing huge, not important characters.
should be the last video on Bubba and Uncle Boz, ending this perfect trilogy.